Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 3 in the NFL preseason. We're talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Now we're going to take a look at the Sunday game between Houston and New Orleans. Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Remind us again how you've done this preseason and what you've got at your site for NFL Week 3 in terms of premium plays.
Yeah, anybody who cares about what someone's done over a career, they're already permanent clients of mine, but you want to jump on board somebody who's just hot. 6-2 in the NFL last week, and we already have a great premium card up. Even as I filed this report, 5 premium plays for this weekend in the NFL, and I'm sure we will have more before it's all said and done at OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right, well, you're 6-2, in Week 2, so you think that means that you're probably going to do well in Week 3. Sean Payton, 8-1 straight up in Week 3 of the NFL preseason. Do you think that means that he's going to do well this Week 3?
Not necessarily. I mean, that is a pretty impressive stat, but you know what I say, that I have found that the coaches' trends don't necessarily hold up. There can be a lot of things that affect that, but I'm not blown away by an 8-1 trend, but it's still something to consider.
Well, New Orleans is a 3.5 or 4-point home favorite. The total's 43.5 or 44. We know there's some, tension, I guess you'd call it, in the locker room because of the decision on the quarterback to go with Hoyer over Mallett. There have been reports that Mallett was, very upset about that. Understandable. Not sure how much that impacts this game. And then New Orleans has actually played pretty well in the preseason. They should have won their first game, I think, but they had a lot of penalties called against them. And then the first team played great against the Pats. And then the reserves came in and kind of blew it. But, how much is Drew Brees likely to play here? He's going to be the starting quarterback, so maybe they pull him in the second quarter. How much do you expect the starters to play here for the Saints?
Definitely Drew Brees. They'll be very conservative with him. I think it's the point where Drew Brees will determine how much work that he wants. And as far as Ryan Mallett, well, being upset is one thing, but he magically managed to miss practice because he overslept. Although now they're officially saying it was a personal issue. I think he's a very puerile guy, and I think that's could cause some problems for the Texans. We know he's got this strong arm, but that could be a distraction. But I wouldn't expect this. I would certainly expect for Houston, if either team's going to play their starters longer, it would be Houston.
Yeah, and Houston, they've got that massive defense that, if the defense plays, 2.5 quarters and is playing at 100% speed, that's a big advantage for Houston. They are getting 3.5 or 4 points. Then again, though, the Saints, again, they played well this preseason. Sean Payton 7-2 against the spread in his last 9 Week 3. So do you have an official pick on this one, or do you have a lean? What would you like to grace us with, Joe Duffy?
Well, you're all right. The Texans, despite Jadeveon Clowney, will be out, but J.J. Watt looks like he's going to play. Vince Wilfork. The Texans certainly have a better defense than they do offense. In fact, Chris Landry, a guy whose opinion I respect, an NFL scout, he's been all over networks and whatnot, and he has described the Texas offense as let's see, what was his exact phraseology? You have to show any spark, or they've been impotent or something. Basically, he said he's looked at the game films, and he believes that their offense has been incompetent. And but they do have a good defense, and like we said, I don't know if the Saints are going to show that much on offense. So I will say the under will be the play for the purposes of this video.
All right, Joe Duffy going official with the under. Right now, 43.5 and 44 are the market-wide numbers, so we can give you 44 on that one, Joe. Interesting reasoning. So you're expecting not offensive explosion from the Saints offensively in the first half, and just, Drew Brees throwing 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, and all of a sudden you got a high-scoring game.
Well, I do think that the Saints could get off to a quick offensive start, but as far as whether or not enough to push it over the total, I would say no. And remember that the Texans, they got to find a running back to take the place of Arian Foster. Now, it looks like Arian Foster could be back, Week 5 or something like that. But they do have to find somebody, though, to carry the load, literally and figuratively, for the first few weeks. And I think that the Texans will use this game to find a running back.
Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com blessing us with an official pick that'll go down on his permanent record for the purposes of our record keeping in these videos. Under 44 in Houston, New Orleans. For me, this is going to be a pass. Looks kind of scary. Thanks so much, Joe.